Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kevin here. Today, I'd like to talk about my DJ backup strategies. Okay, I've got a couple things that I'll talk you through, and these things are really important for us because as a mobile DJ, certainly things can happen. We can come into a problem where we have a equipment failure, we need a hot backup for some reason. Maybe you need to play music in another location at the same time and you need a quick change, or you need quickly to have duplicate sources. So what I want to do with today's video is walk you through a couple of these strategies and show you guys what I do just to make sure that I have that peace of mind and I have everything backed up in case anything happens. Okay guys, what I'm gonna do is we're here at my desk and I'm gonna just talk you through my steps that I take in order to get everything backed up, including my music and my music library. And it goes a little bit beyond that too. I'll show you guys. So this is my main MacBook Pro that I use for my DJing, and here, I've got a couple things that I do. The most important is I keep everything in a specific folder, and then I use Google Drive, basically OneDrive, to take everything and sync it to the cloud, okay? So there's this cool app that you can get from Google, and looks like I'm behind on a couple sync activities, but essentially, this here, it runs as a little icon in the corner. Hopefully we can see this on the screen here. But this little cloud icon with the little arrows that are kind of moving in a circle pattern, that's basically your sync tool. And that is pointed at a specific set of folders. So if I go into my Finder and I look at my music folder, I've got a folder called DJ, okay? This is where all of my music files are stored, okay? They're all in this DJ hierarchy. And then I have other things, of course, like other files and things that I'll talk about in a minute regarding DJ software. But everything's here. Now, I might have other documents, things like on the desktop or things in my other folders. So I make sure to also point the sync software there. So right in my Google, in the cloud, okay, I have access to those files, but I also have a hot backup. So whenever I drop anything into one of these folders, it's going to be in the cloud, okay? That's very important because obviously being on the, getting new music or whatever, getting new files, and I, of course, will want to load them, get them into my software, and I want to make sure that I've got a hot backup of those. I don't want to have to remember every time to back things up, okay? I want to make sure that it's automated. So the Google Sync does that for me. There's lots of different, Dropbox, other kind of things that you could use, but I find that this is very helpful for me. Okay, so that's pretty much the most important step for me, is make sure that I've got a cloud backup, automated cloud backup, okay? So let's go ahead and walk through some of these other steps. So, and I'll show you in another video, I talk about my folder structure for my music, and I use the year. So these are all like, 2021, 02 is February. So this is any music that I would download or get in the month of February in 2021. And I would put those in here. And that just is my system for as I retrieve or download or buy new music. Of course, I'm going to put it into an organization system. But everything I know is going to be in this DJ folder, which is very important. So I've got all these files in here. And then the other big piece, of course, from a DJ perspective, is your library. And I'm using Rekordbox DJ, Pioneer Rekordbox DJ, and it has a library that contains all the metadata about your files. So you think about the different playlists or crates that you create. Think about all the things like I'm assigning like color codes to basically correspond to energy of the track. I'm also doing things like doing a rating. I'm doing setting cues, hot cues, all these things, right? Like all these little hot cues, right, that are in the track, all the library information about the grid of the song. So if I look at the beat grid of the song, I can zoom in a little bit so you can see, but these lines that correspond with the sound wave, basically that's all stored. All that information is stored in the music library from Rekordbox. So it's very important data and we don't want to lose it. We don't want to get it corrupted. So I'm going to back that up, and pretty frequently, in fact, before every gig, before every event, okay, a wedding, a party, anytime I'm going to do something, even lately as I've been making more online mixes, I do a backup of the library. And super simple. Here's all you do. I won't share the screen on this. I'll just kind of show you. Hopefully you can see. It's really easy. All we do here is say File in Rekordbox, Library, Backup Library. Now it's going to ask us a question. It's going to say, hey, it's going to take a long time. Okay, that's cool. Do you want to back up music files as well? And if you did this, it will take your whole library. So in my case, I've got like 7,000 files here on the laptop right now. It would take all 7,000 files plus your library data and bring it all together into one big, massive library. We don't want to do that. We just want to back up the library, the data itself, because I know the files are safe. They're in the cloud and they're cool. So I'm just going to get the backup of the library. So it's going to take all this data, my playlist, my crates, all my beat grids, any hot cue that I just set, all that's going to be in there. So I say, no, I don't want to back up music as well. And then it asks me where to put it. And I put everything in this music folder, okay? And it's a location that is essentially, I've got the Google Sync tool pointed at, so it's going to pick that up and sync it once I create this file, this backup file. And I just say save. I keep all you can kind of see the file format is like, 2021, February 20th is today's date while I'm filming this. So I click save. It's going to prepare the backup. It's going to do the backup. Takes a little bit of time. The more data you have, and the more, of course, the larger your library, the more you use all these tags. Like I use tags for genre and other things. All those tags, that just expands your database because it's everything you have times how many songs you have in your library. So I basically, it's backing up. Now these files can get pretty large. You'll see it's 90%. And okay, it's good. Collection was backed up. Great. Now let's go take a look at the file itself. And here it is. Okay, so you can kind of see I have a couple versions there. By the way, I don't know if you can see, there's a little green checkbox next to some of the files, and then a little blue double arrow next to the file we just created, the backup file. That means that those green checks are actually from the Google OneDrive sync tool. And Google's like, yeah, I've got those. I'm good. I've synced them up. And this one, the little arrows are kind of like rotating. So it's backing it up right now as we speak. So this is pretty cool. It's backing up online. And, based on where we are, I can probably get rid of some of these older ones. So I'll just move those to trash. And watch this, actually, the Google Sync tool will pop up and say, hey, I just noticed you deleted some files. Do you sure want me to remove those from my online archive? See how this happened? And I'll say, yeah, go ahead and remove them. So that's kind of a cool fail safe, it's kind of like a recycle bin. But anyway, so I've got this backup and it's done. It's going to take a little bit to sync because it's huge. Let's see, it's 2.1 gig. I mean, that's big for a library, a backup file. But I remember when my library file was like 1 gig and I had a similar amount of songs. It's just what I had done is added these tags. I've added a lot of data just around hot cues and beat grid changes and things like, like I said, my color coding that denotes my energy levels of the song. Like, blue is chill and yellow's groove a little bit. Anyway, doing all that creates a bigger library file. So just, if you're worried about size and things, that's cool. That's something you want to think about. But I've got it backed up now. Cool. That's great. Now, here's what I do next. This is sort of like my workflow. I back that up, Then, then I get my backup laptop. And my backup laptop is also a MacBook Pro 2018. It's a little smaller. It's like a few inches smaller on the screen size. You can kind of see here. But I mean, but otherwise it's identical. I mean, it's the exact same, same OS, same everything. But what I do basically is I want this at all times to be an exact replica of this laptop. Okay. I mean, I think I even have the same. No, I think I changed the background. Yeah, changed the background. But anyway, it's the same. I want everything to be the same. So what I'll do is typically my process would be to come over here on this backup laptop and say, hey, I've got this little shortcut on the desktop. By the way, the desktops are synced as well. Music on Kevin's MacBook, which is this one. My primary is Kevin's MacBook. So I open this up. Sometimes, let's see. There it is. Okay. So first off, I'm in the music folder and I see there's my record box backup, my library backup that I just made. So I'm going to grab that. Okay. And I'm going to put it in my local copy of my music folder on this laptop. Okay. So, I've got to make a new window, new Finder window. Okay. Let me go to music. Okay, cool. And as you can see, I've got nothing. Okay. Nothing in here. And I'm just going to drag and drop this. Okay. So it's copying over. Now that takes care of that will take care of getting my music library into this version of Rekordbox, into this local copy. And as it's copying over, we'll have some other steps to do. But I also want to make sure I get any music, because I've been getting new music that I have on this laptop, but I've not put it onto this laptop yet. So I know that there's a way to double sync this almost, and make it so that anything I put into this laptop, it will go to the cloud and it will pop back to this one. But what I do is I do it manually. I think it just makes me, I like to make sure I'm watching the things come over and make sure that I get the files on the laptop. So I do it manually, which has been fine for me. So while that's copying over, okay, I go in and I say, okay, so my latest folder for music under my DJ folder is 2021, and we're of course in February right now. So I would have, looks like I've already got the February folder because, I've backed up within the last couple weeks. So I'm going to go into the February folder and I'm just going to say, hey, everything on this laptop, I want to make sure is in this folder. Okay. And let's say it's March, I'll create a new March folder over here. And then if I look and I don't see a March folder, I'm just going to drag the whole folder over. So it's real simple. And I just like having that, again, that hands-on, tangible aspect to moving these files around, especially on this part of it. So I just drag and drop everything from the February folder over and get all the files. I drop them over here. And it should ask me, do you want to overwrite certain files? I don't want to. So I'm just going to allow it to copy the new stuff. So here it comes. It's copying some new things, some new songs. And of course, I've got it going double duty. It's saying now, do I want to skip? Yes, I'll just apply to all and I'll skip. I do not need to replace the files that have already been copied. Wouldn't be bad if I did, but I don't want to do that. Okay, cool. So it's going to go ahead and do this. Now, while it's doing that, of course, I've got these two, this laptop moving data into this laptop. What I'm going to be doing next, my next step to get this guy ready, my backup laptop, is I'm going to launch Rekordbox, okay? So it's probably fine if it was already running and loaded. I don't think there would be a problem, but I'm going to go ahead and launch it. And what we're going to do is wait for this backup file to copy over, because we're going to have to restore it, okay? Guys, while we wait, this would be a great time, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel. You can go on to Mobile DJ Remastered and subscribe. We're doing content like this all the time. Hopefully it's helpful, giving you some ideas, or at least I appreciate seeing other people's workflow, and it kind of sparks thoughts in my mind, or it helps me, strengthen my processes. So hopefully that's going on for you too. So please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And we're done. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I've got, again, all the files that are on this laptop are now on this laptop. And a little tip, if you are doing some, let's say, library cleanup on your master laptop, in this case, my main laptop, what I would do, let's say, is go in and delete files or take old files that I don't ever play anymore out of my library. Every once in a while, what I'll do is I'll just clean all of these folders out of that DJ folder. I just clean them out, delete the whole structure, and just drop the DJ folder from here over here. That takes all, 6,000 or 7,000 songs that are my core, and it's gonna drop them on into this laptop. So that's cool. That's a good way to, if you're doing some maintenance, that's a good way just to catch up. I don't want to try to remember, that file that I just got rid of was out of my, August 2019 folder. I don't want to, that's crazy, right? That's too much. So that's an easy, super easy way to do that. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and I can close down this laptop. Okay. And I'm going to sit over here because we're going to talk about one other thing in a second. But now that I've got, the backup laptop, it's got all of my files here. And of course you could compare, but no need to. I've got all the music files here, and I'm going to go ahead and move into what I do with Rekordbox. So this is the library as it existed a couple weeks ago. It's not the same library as my master laptop. So that's why we have that library backup. We need to restore it. Super easy to do that. And I'll just make sure we've got, super easy to do that. I always put it in export mode. I don't think you have to, but I don't know. I like to do it that way. Okay, file, library, restore library. Okay, it's right there. Super easy. We do that in Rekordbox, and I'm sure Serato and other software has similar features. Are you sure you want to overwrite the present library? This operation may take a long time. Well, sure, yeah, I don't mind overwriting because I know that this is my backup copy, or this is my backup laptop. So I can browse to my music folder, and there's that file that 2.1 gigabyte file that I drug over from my master laptop. Select that guy, say okay, and here we go. So what it's doing now is it's overwriting all of the beat grids, the genre tags, all the information that was in the library. It's basically taking what's in here and plopping it here, and it's gonna look to the folders. This is really important. It's gonna look to the same folder location for my files. So it was really important that when I set up this laptop, if you think about the Finder, I've got music, right? My music folder, and then my DJ folder, and then all my little, date folders, my little scheme where I used, this is from June of 2018, 1806. And then, February of 2019 would be 1902. This little scheme has to be the same. So that's why I copy, paste. And that's why also I keep it in the music folder. So everything's the same. That way, this library doesn't get confused. It can just use the same paths that my master uses. Hopefully that makes sense. And it looks like we're done here. Restore is finished. Please restart the application. We say okay, it restarts for us. And at this point, I don't need this backup any longer on this laptop. Because guess what? I've got it on my master laptop. I also have it on the cloud. Remember, it kind of synced up to Google. So I'm good. So it's on my drive. If I needed to pull it down for some reason, or let's say, God forbid, I lose both laptops or something like that, then I can still recreate a Mac. As long as I've got a Mac, I can recreate it, reinstall Rekordbox, bring down my files, and then boom, restore the library, and I'm good. I'm good to go. And hopefully that would never happen, but it's, the scenarios you have to play through your mind where certain things could happen. But okay, at this point I can open up Rekordbox and it should show me the library as it was when I left my master. And of course I always check because, I guess, I'm like that. I want to double check. They always say, inspect what you expect, right? So I want to inspect things. And so I see my folder structure. I made some changes recently and I can see that those have been made. Those have been updated. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom and make sure I got some of these. There's a couple tracks that I just got for a wedding. And let's see. Oh, yeah, they're here. I got some instrumentals and some other tracks. Yep, they're here. I haven't coded them yet. I usually go through, and as I import files, I go through that process. So I still need to do some of those files. Yeah, I got everything. Okay, cool. So what this is going to be, and of course, 6930 in terms of number of tracks. I keep an eye on that too, just to make sure. Oh yeah, okay. One thing this doesn't do, I noticed that the library sometimes doesn't save certain metadata inside of your Rekordbox. It seems to save most of the settings, or like most of the things that you've set in your preferences. It seems to bring them over, but it doesn't do a great job on things like the sampler. I don't know why that is, but sometimes I find that it doesn't bring over my sampler properly. In any case, if you're using the sampler, that's probably not a huge deal, especially for me, my workflow. Of course, I'm doing this for backup, but also this is my ceremony. If I'm doing a wedding, this is my ceremony system. So I use the smaller laptop, my backup laptop, connected to my, my Eon 1 Pro, and I use that as my ceremony system. And then this guy, my master laptop, is, for attached in my booth, and it's for my reception setup. If I'm doing something small or a small party or something, I can grab this backup laptop is typically what I do, because it's a little smaller and, it's a little more portable. Anyway, not that there's a big difference between these two, but it's always good to DJ with this one too, because I keep it, I just make sure that everything's up to date, all the system updates, all that good stuff. It's good to just work. It wouldn't be a good thing if I just put files on it and shut it down and never used it. Okay. That's not a hot backup. And it's always good to just test and make sure everything's in working condition. So any case, the other thing that I do, so this is good to go now, and I can close this. We're good to go. This system is now my hot backup, and it's actually, like I said, a duplicate. I can actually run any event off of this one. One other thing that I like to do, and I don't do this every time, but I take my my iPad and my iPhone, and I basically have all of my music transferred onto these devices. So now, what does that do for me? That certainly does not. That doesn't give me the opportunity, to just. I can't DJ necessarily with Rekordbox on my iPad. At least not yet. Maybe there's a way. I don't know how. Emulator or something like that. But right now, what I want to do, my plan, is that let's say I do have a problem with my laptop, and then my backup is otherwise engaged, or it's unavailable, or it breaks, or something. I don't know. Or maybe I didn't get the library restored correctly. I don't know. Something's wrong with it. So I want to be able to have basically have my my iPad on standby. Okay, so I could, if I needed to, I could DJ with this. Okay, and really all I need, of course, is an aux jack or a headphone jack, and I can with adapters and things, I can plug this into a powered speaker and I can rock it. I've got plenty of software here. I got there's a couple different DJs software packages that or apps that you can get for your iPad. The Pioneer one, We DJ, this is great. This actually kind of came with the DDJ 200 We DJ, and this is great. I mean, you can literally, here's your waveforms, You've got, filtering. It's actually really fun actually to play with. It's definitely stripped down. It's not algorithms DJ software at all. Okay. I have that on here too. And that's really powerful. But this is free. I think it was free, and it's really easy to play with. I think it might have some, oh yeah. You can buy some different transition mixes and things like that. But to be honest, so it comes loaded with these demo tracks, Yeah, nice. Oh, look, I'm gonna beat sync. Check it out. Nice. I mean, this is, you could play around with it. You can make this work. You got hot cues, you got a mixer, so you can, you could probably get really savvy with, oh, this is great. Here's your volume fader. Anyway, you could definitely get by with something like this, okay? And what's cool is you can access any of your songs that you have here on your iPad. So of course, tracks and everything's right here. You can search. Now this is not gonna replicate all your crates, okay, and all your playlists. You could do that, but you'd have to do it, in this case, you'd have to do it within My Music or, your file structure on the iPad, or even if you're using Beatport or something like that. So I don't suggest that you necessarily live by this, but in a pinch, you could definitely do a party with just this. Hopefully, you're the kind of DJ that would have you would have 40, 50, 60, good party tracks in your head, and you could just type them in and you could find them. You could also make it through a ceremony or something, as long as you had a piece of paper or something, or a note on your phone or something that you said, hey, here are the special songs that I need for my wedding ceremony or for my wedding reception. You could find them. You could search here and you could get through them. And if you can't, I'm sure you can just access those things. And I've got to play Christina Perri's 1,000 Years. Boom, there it is. Okay, go. Super easy. Any case, I know you guys get the point. But I just hook up, I use one of these little lightning this is USB, and then this takes us to USB-C, this little connector. And I just go through here and make sure to go into my music app. Actually, I don't do it on here. I do it on here, and I go into my the music app on the MacBook. And then I will essentially just make sure, once this pops up, I just do a sync. And it's super easy to do this. There's probably some better ways or some different ways. And if you have any ideas for me, leave them in the comments. I'm really looking for, when I do this, quick, speedy, interaction, workflow, but I want something that works and is reliable. It just popped up here, Kevin's iPad. I click that guy, and then of course it's got sync settings. And I always just make sure music is sync all music onto Kevin's iPad. Great. I click the sync down here, boom. And now I should get the little sync icon on my, maybe I need to do it again. Here it goes. Okay, so I've got the little sync button, or the little icon spinning around. It looks like it's going through. It's found 66 files to sync. So I'll do this on the iPad here. I'll do it on my phone. And then I've got literally 4 copies of my music with me on my person when I go do an event. And then I've got another copy, if you will, in the cloud. So I really could take someone else's device, iPad, Android, tablet. As long as I could get access to my, log into my Google Drive, I could DJ from that. So I feel like that's a pretty good system, and I'm pretty well backed up. Okay, guys, that's it for the video. Really appreciate you watching, and hopefully you learned something, or the video gave you an idea, maybe sparked a thought, because it's so important for us mobile DJs to have a nice backup upon a backup upon backup, because the show must go on, right? I mean, we cannot have a failure where we can't play music. So Depending on whether you have a PC or an Android or you're using virtual DJ or whatever, backup's important to us all. So please make sure to think through your processes, make sure you've got a good set of backups. And if you have any ideas for how I could even improve my system, or if you have any ideas that you'd like to share that you've done, I would love to hear about them in the comments below. Thank you so much and take care.